So I can totally replace you with somebody else. Because you are by far and away the worst person on our government right now. So I'm going to say that I'm not that concerned about him. So I'm going to take the political influence, lay our faith in Jupiter, and then I'm going to replace him with just somebody who's better. So we have basically these three choices. None of you... Oh yeah, you do have traits. You're brave. Oh man. I don't like how the back thing doesn't go to where I previously was. Government. Change augur. Look at you. Prominent. Prominence plus 30. Senate influence. Attraction as heir. Great wonder construction. Optimates an oligarchic. And he's brave. So actually Publius Decius Mus is pretty good. And then Paulus is the last one. He's just brave. So I think that we're going to bring in Mus. He's not as popular, but that popularity will go up. He doesn't have the same statesmanship as Megelius, but he's younger, so he has more time to grow into it. And he is loyal. AI can adopt characters with a family. It's likely that happen normally in a monarchy. You do it yourself, but I guess the republics do it for you. Interesting. Okay, so somebody can adopt this guy. Wait, he's only a 7? I thought you were an 8. That's a 7. I can count. Okay, not as good as I expected, but that's fine. Imperative auguries were conducted on the Capitone on the first clean morning. After a tense wait, Consul Publius receives an inscrutable chief augur Publius Cornelius Arvina into the commentum. Publius slowly steps forwards and raises his palms to hush the thronging crowd. With palpable glee, he finally bellows, "Indicant!" and smiles at the crowd as they turn into a rapturous celebration, echoing cries which can be heard on every hill in Rome. Consul Publius reverently bows before the mouthpiece of Jupiter. So Sophus gains popularity. Publius gains popularity. State religion happiness goes up. Army morale recovery goes up for 6 years. 5 years. Anyone know of a good basic explainer for Imperator? I know E4 and hard to find for decently well, but after watching this leaves me fairly lost. I mean, Hadalith, the reason you're feeling fairly lost is because this has changed so much. I'm lost. I can't do a good explainer because I am still learning this. It has changed pretty radically. The best thing I could do is recommend you watch Lord Lambert, because he, kind of in the same way that I do a lot of E4, he does a lot of Imperator. So, yeah, check out Lord Lambert's stuff. Because I'm pretty sure that he's going to be posting a lot of detail about this, because I know he's been looking forward to it for a long time. So that's Lambert's YouTube, and then Lambert's Twitch. Is here. And he's really big on Imperator, so he's definitely going to be covering this. And he'll know a hell of a lot more about it than I will, because he's covered all the dev diaries and stuff, whereas I'm coming into this pretty much blind. Families will adopt if they don't have enough alive, and not imprisoned characters eligible for work is needed to reach the content status. Oh, interesting, okay. Community challenge started, ho ho. Boost the stream. The Baswell, thank you very much for the follow, welcome to the channel. Boost, boost, boost. So the boosts that just became a thing basically help the channel go higher into the search. So if people are looking for gameplay about Imperator right now, they're more likely to find me, so it really does help out. Surreal Beliefs has a video up on the new update for Imperator. Yeah, he's doing a tutorial. It was good for the levies, but I don't think all of them are out, because he said there's a whole bunch coming. Would it be nice if they're out, you know, before today? Hey, challenge complete. That was quick. 105% gained. Thank you very much to everyone. Thanks, Mordred. I'm interested in this game. It's solid now. Again, like a lot of people are asking me, has this improved? I don't know yet. Give me a week and then I'll tell you. The deceitful Umbrians. Lucius Julius Lebo lumbers up to the podium to talk on the Umbri. Esteemed senators, some of you may dismiss them as little more than hill-dwelling sheep herders, but they intervened on the side of the Samnites. Then our sworn enemies only a few years past. They have wrestled with the Etruscans for hundreds of years, yet still they stand. Can we allow such a foe to be underestimated? Umbria must submit to Rome. Getting myself loads and loads of claims. Because there's definitely going to be fighting. Did they remove the mana mechanic thingy? They did that some time ago. It's now been replaced with political influence, which is basically the one mana thing, instead of having, I think, 4 different types. Everything is done with this one. And there's also a lot more reliance on stability. There's a lot more actions you can take which will drop your stability. But it has a self-balancing measure. So yeah, it will drop, but then it will automatically rise back up to 50%. Likewise, if it's over 50%, it will slowly drop to 50%. Unless you have something which shifts that like I do, apparently. Oh, instability increases population growth. Well then. I think that I may well wish to perform a divine sacrifice, because this will increase my stability change. Doing it again will be more expensive. But for the next 5 years, that is going to be good. We have an excellent Pontifex Maximus. We have Leges Genuciae. So we're going to go ahead and do this. It'll cost me 43, but we have enough. We could do it again if we wanted to raise it even further for 76, but I think we'll hold it there. So now this is going to trend up even further. Does it say what it's going to trend to? No. That's a bit annoying. Italian destiny. Marcus Aemilius Paulus calls for silence in the Curia. Roma has prospered by placing her interests first, and the gods have shown their love for her. We are poised to rule all of Italia if our petty disputes can be put aside and our strength rallied to the cause. If she only had the courage to seize the moment, everlasting glory and honour would be the least of her rewards. We must strike as quickly as possible. Well, the scoundrels aren't going anywhere. So that's increasing claim fabrication. This is fabricating claim cost. Oh, okay. So there are 2 different ways of doing this. Oops. So how do you get the claim fabrication speed? Like, what does that matter? Really? Okay. Political influence generated through the loyalty of the government office holders. It's way less arbitrary than mana in any game. Yeah, so having a good core government is important, which is why I've been spending some time like rejigging this. I didn't take a very close look at loyalty, which is what these numbers are. So actually our censor is not very loyal, but everyone else is really quite good. So why are you pissed? Power base and country, minus 24. So you're unhappy because your own power is low. Even though you're the head of the family. Or maybe it's because you are the head of the family, so you think that you are more powerful. That's probably more likely. Speeds up the time it takes to achieve the claim. Clicking the button isn't an instant thing. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to say the cost should go down. But we've already got a bunch of claims, and let me just reread the mission. On completion, we get claims in the Italian peninsula. Rome will be able to pick between the various military modifiers. But that's not stopping me going to war now, is it? Oh, I was not paused. We don't want to do the show superiority. This is about these. Surrounded by vultures, Lucius Postumius Megellus brings urgent news. Brutia and Lucania are plotting the demise of Rome. Approaching hysterics, Lucius squeals of their alliance, aiming to carve up our lands between themselves. There is little evidence for an invasion, but the Senate has been successfully carried into a frenzy. Rome will not be cowed! I wonder if all of these claims we're getting at the moment is actually this mission completing itself. I would imagine it probably is. Enriching the elite is, once again, the agenda of the Optimates. This time they've decided to gather around the head of the Claudii family, Gaius Claudius Crassus. They claim that he deserves some land as a repayment for his excellent service to the Senate. The populares are loudly opposing the legislation, as it looks like it will be public land that will be given to the Claudii family. So, here we had a mission or something. Oh yeah, we should also take a look at our laws, that's true. If I can remember where this was. There was something which was saying that I need to give a certain number of holdings out. But I couldn't tell you where. Here it is. So, what are the agendas? I have no idea. Let's go and take this. Every political party has their own agenda, a particular goal for the current term. If the ruling government succeeds in addressing their demands, this will appeal to the party greatly. If not, some parties can try to force their agenda over time. Agendas are selected at the start of a new term or when a new ruling party has been established. A party can be driven by ideology, faith, relations, or raw unfettered belief in their own cause when setting these goals. So we kind of want to do this if we want to keep the Optimates happy, which right now, considering how strong they are, we probably want to do. So, sure. Rome gains 20 approval from the Optimates. Up to 3 holdings will be granted to Gaius Claudius Crassus. And that's saying that the agenda has been achieved. Not that they need it, but they shall have our support nonetheless. Yeah, but that sounded like it was giving holdings for free. Let's take a look. Still 0.5. Or is that saying that I need to give him up to 3? Ah, okay. Here we can see what they are. So the grant holdings is the agenda for the guys who are currently in power. The Bonii want at least 5 buildings in Capua. And you want me to pass the Centuriat Assembly law. Oh, month tick likely fixes it. Okay. Before we do that, though, we did want to take a look at the government laws. Here we go. So they wanted me to do the Centuriat Assembly. So we currently have a tribal assembly, which pisses off the Optimates and the Bonii, but the Popularis like it, and corruption goes down. We could have the Centuriat Assembly, which everyone likes, and fabricate claims get much, much cheaper. Curious Assembly. The Optimates like it. Sorry, the Optimates and the Populares don't like it, the Bono like it. That gives us less tyranny. And then this one gives us more political influence. Actually, the Centuriates Assembly doesn't sound terrible. Costs us 15 stability and 35 political power, but that is something we can do. We also have the Servian levy versus the Republican levy. So the Republican levy gives us 5% levy size. This gives us 7.5. So we get a much bigger army with the Republican levy. And this has manpower recovery. At the moment, while we're actually trying to recover manpower, we probably want that. But if we go to war, we'll switch to Republican. Leges Genukai, which is Divine Sacrifice, goes down. Election term duration goes up by 5. Or Lexantonia, election term goes down by 3. I don't think I really care. Maritime law. Manpower recovery goes up by 5%. Lex Gabinia. Export value goes up. Import value goes up. We have a lot of imports. However, we will get a pirate haven. And then Lex Claudia will allow us to do anti-piracy wars. And there are no other laws available yet. And then the different governments have different laws as well. So I don't really see any problem with changing to the Centuriates Assembly. Military arm of the Roman democratic system, the Centuriates Assembly was weighted by the material wealth of the soldiers of which it was comprised. The practical result is a particularly elitist legislative body. Although that's the populists. Do we really want to pander to the populists? And then Capua is the other place that we need to build some stuff. So for this, we'll need to save up 85 ducats, and then we can start some construction going. Is it pandering, or is it just something that we want anyway? Well, this reduces corruption, which we do actually have a corruption reduction because of our sanctioned privileges. So this does kind of counteract having that. But fabricating claims, we seem to have claims on pretty much everything that we want anyway. I'm just going to leave it for now. I don't think we really need to change. Oh, and that counted as completing their agenda. So even though they only got 3 holdings and it didn't cost us anything, it's done. Cool. So their approval is now very, very high. I mean, I guess having everyone's approval is not necessarily a bad thing. The main thing is, as long as we're not giving them more power. Is foreign manpower hidden now? Yes, seems that way. Manpower and military stuff is now hidden. You have to unlock a tech and do the personal action. Interesting. Okay. I mean, what I'm doing is waiting for this mission to complete so that I can get the Encourage expansion, then I can just go on a massive fight. Because I still suspect that we would have a bigger force than most of these people. And there it is, the ascendance of Rome. The efforts of our more belligerent senators have succeeded in persuading the majority of the Curia and even the people of Rome that Italia is ours. The Campus Martius is alive with the cries of our confident soldiers, and the fresh hospices reinforce the gods' ascent for war each day. The end of the recent conflict with our enemies in Eritrea and Samnium has left our republic as the strongest power in the Italian peninsula. Our victory has firmly convinced our feudatories the value of supporting our cause, and has shown other small states the value of being on our side. Roman settlers are now moving on their own accord to the regions of our north and east, establishing new colonies, expecting our protection. All look to us, from Samnium to Eritrea to Sicily to Carthage, awaiting the next move. I sing of warfare, and a man of war. Alright, so where are these different regions? So that's Campania, so that would basically be completing the land that we already have. Apulia would be over there, kind of isolated, and Lucania is there. So I think we want to go for the CB against Campania. And our allies will automatically get called. They don't have any allies. What? The boost said it completed at 105%. But you're right, it's now saying you only got 25%. I don't know, it's a new system. Remember to raise your levies. Yes. Surely we would do that once we actually go to war. Rhone gains 5 approval from the popularis. Alright then. We're at war! We have disloyal characters. No risk of civil war though. Okay. Military. Levies. Raise all. So then the main army is currently commanded by Sophus. But... no, you can't change their commander. Okay, so here we can see a bit more detail about how exactly this fight is going to look. So we've got, as I said at the beginning of the stream, but many of you may have missed that, combat has been changed. So there are now 3 types of unit: primary, secondary, and flankers. So the primaries are your front line. That's actually archers and light infantry. So we've currently got archers in the front row, and they will be doing their first damage. As soon as the archers get broken on a unit by unit basis, they'll then flee behind the secondary line, who then push up. That secondary line are the heavy infantry for us. So our front line's basically whittling them down, doing a bit of damage, causing a bit of morale hits, and then the heavies move in to actually finish the fight. Meanwhile, on each flank, we have our light cavalry. Their job is to fight off the enemy's flank. And then whoever wins the flank battles will then join the battle from the side against the centre primaries and secondaries. And the power that they have of doing that is dependent on their manoeuvre skill. So if we hover over the light infantry, we can see that they have a manoeuvre of 3, which means that they can hit the 3 on each side. So they could hit those 3, and then the ones on the other side could hit those 3. There will be some which will have like manoeuvre 4, manoeuvre 5. It really depends on what the different units do. Levies can't change their commanders. Yeah, it's all based on the governor, which is kind of interesting. So we don't have any attachments, we can't build roads, we can't drill the army, we can't force march it. Unit reorganization will allow it to reinforce quicker, so you can basically pull it back behind your lines, press that button, and they'll reinforce. Create new unit, split in half. Can we actually split these? Yeah, it looks like we can. Consolidate, cannot disband. Detach seed, detach support. Oh, and then these are the 3 support cohorts. We can change their primary action, so they're probably going to be better at envelopment, because they'll have a 71% bonus. The envelopment is better for the light infantry. However, shock is going to be better for the heavy infantry. We don't have any modifiers for the heavy infantry yet. So I think we're going to go with the envelopment. Just because it has an overall higher potency. Construct border forts, embark armies, attach to unit, order full retreat, root out the pirates, and then desecrate holy sites. Flank size 5. Okay, then the other thing that we need to bear in mind is combat width. So this combat width is probably on grasslands. It'll be a lot narrower in hills and mountains. It'll be a lot wider. Well, it's probably this for grassland. So we are going to be focusing quite heavily on our flanks. So we're going to be wanting to fight them out in the open. Let's have you guys moving down to Capua. We'll leave you there for the moment and see if they raise any troops. They do have a port, and I think we are going to send our 2 navies out to go and blockade. And yes, you can, I believe, desecrate your own holy site. Alright, so whose armies are whose? I guess the ones with the red borders are the enemies, which means their army is over here at the moment. Where there is actually a fort. And Frentatia is our friend? Yes, they're one of our fundatories. Okay, so can I merge you two together? No, because the levies are always separate. Okay. I guess. Where are we going around? Because there's a fort here? Yes. You're about to get squished, I'm afraid. No longer importing precious metals from Chaltiki. Oh, that's annoying. I would like to buy some more of those if there are any available. Oh, that was all of them gone. And yet, that only gave me 1 slot back. What? Nobody wants to sell me precious metals. That is very unfortunate. Okay, are locked units a thing in this game? Yes. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. So your job is to hold them up until I arrive. The other reason I'm doing this is because it's going to let me see what their combat is. Select battle, there we go. So they are currently using deception. So then what counters deception? Envelopment does. So we're doing the right thing. Okay, our full army has now arrived. They will trickle in. This is grassland, so we'll see the full battlefield as soon as they get in. And there they go. So you can see that we have our flankers here on the flanks. We've got the centres in the middle. It looks like the... Oh, there are no archers, so it's just our front line, which are the heavy infantry. They have a -10 because we are... Actually, it's a -25 technically because we are countering deception with our envelopment, and we have 105 discipline to their 100. So we should win this pretty easily. The Punic Menace! Long have our ancestors and senators mused about the Carthaginian threat across the ocean. Recently, however, this threat has moved closer to home as the city of Excess extends insidious tendrils into the heartland of Sicilia. Whilst we have not always seen eye to eye, an envoy from Syracuse tells of the likelihood of impending war in Sicily once again, and begs for protection so that all of Italia may be spared from the terror of a foreign foe. So, do we guarantee Syracuse or not? What happened historically? I'm guessing they did. This was probably the First Punic War.